Hey, this is Soft Languages. Thanks for being here.
Hey, really happy to be here. This is one of those topics I could talk about for hours.
Same, and I think a lot of people listening can relate because today we are talking about the hybrid workplace, what it actually looks like, how people are managing it, and some of the bigger shifts happening in the professional world right now.
Right, and when we say hybrid, we mean that mix of working from the office some days and from home other days. It sounds simple, but there's actually a lot going on underneath that.
Exactly, so let's get into it. You've been working in a hybrid setup for about 2 years now, right?
Almost 2.5, yeah. And honestly, the first few months were a bit of an adjustment. I had been fully remote during the pandemic, so going back to the office, even part-time, felt strange at first.
How so? Like, what felt strange about it?
It was more the mental shift than the physical one. When you work from home for a long time, you build a whole routine around that. Your focus rhythms, your breaks, your setup, and then suddenly you're expected to be at a desk in an open office 2 or 3 days a week, and everything feels a little off.
I get that completely. And I think what you're describing is something a lot of professionals went through. There's even a term for it now, this idea that people had to kind of relearn how to work in a shared space.
Which brings up something I find really interesting about where work is heading. Companies started realizing that it's not just about where people work, it's about what skills they actually have and whether those skills still match what the job needs.
Right, and that's where you start hearing words like upskilling and reskilling come up a lot.
Yes, so upskilling is basically when you take your existing skills and you build on them. You get better at what you already do or you add new layers to it. Like if you're good at project management and then you learn a new project management tool or software.
So it's like upgrading yourself within your current role.
Exactly. You're not changing direction, you're deepening what you already know. And reskilling is a bit different. That's when someone learns a completely new set of skills, usually because their role has changed or even disappeared and they need to move into a different area.
And in the context of hybrid work, why are these two things so relevant?
Because the hybrid model changed what the office is actually for. It's no longer just a place where you go to do your job. It's become more of a collaboration space, a place for meetings, for brainstorming, for the kind of work that genuinely benefits from being face-to-face.
And the deep, focused individual work is more likely to happen at home.
For most people, yes, and that shift means that certain skills became a lot more important. Things like knowing how to communicate clearly in writing because you're not always in the same room as your team, or being able to manage your own time without someone checking in on you.
Self-management is huge. I feel like that's something a lot of people had to develop pretty quickly.
And some people struggled with it, not because they weren't good at their jobs, but because they had always worked in environments where structure was provided for them. Someone else set the schedule, called the meetings, kept things moving, and suddenly they had to do that for themselves.
So in a way, even soft skills like that became part of the upskilling conversation.
Totally. And companies that took this seriously started investing in training programs, not just technical training, but things like communication workshops, digital collaboration tools, even time management courses.
I want to ask you about the other side of this, because I think there's a version of hybrid work that sounds great in theory, but is actually quite difficult to manage in practice. Like, have you seen cases where it just didn't work?
Oh, absolutely. The biggest issue I've seen is what people call proximity bias. It's this tendency for managers to unconsciously favor the people they see in person more often.
So if you're in the office more, you get more visibility.
And more opportunities, more of those informal conversations that lead to projects, promotions, that kind of thing. And the people who are remote more often can end up feeling like they're on the outside, even if their work is just as good or better.
That's a real problem because the whole promise of hybrid is flexibility. But if that flexibility comes with a professional penalty, then people are going to feel pressure to be in the office more than they actually want to be.
And then it stops being hybrid and it just becomes the office with extra steps.
Right, exactly. So how do you think companies can actually get this right?
I think it starts with being really intentional about communication, like setting clear expectations, which days are office days, which days are remote days, and why, not just leaving it up to each team to figure out randomly.
Consistency.
Consistency is huge, and also making sure that the tools people use for remote communication are actually good. Because there's nothing more frustrating than a hybrid meeting where the people in the room can hear each other perfectly and the people online are struggling with audio or can't see the screen.
That's the worst. I've been in so many of those.
It sends a message even if it's not intentional. It says the people who are remote are an afterthought.
And going back to reskilling for a second, because I think this connects. Some managers themselves needed to reskill in terms of how they lead people. Managing a remote or hybrid team is genuinely different from managing a team that's always in front of you.
100%. The old model of leadership was very much about oversight. You could see what people were doing, you could walk over and check in, and a lot of managers built their whole style around that visibility.
And that doesn't work anymore.
It doesn't. You have to lead by outcomes, not by hours logged. You have to trust people to do their work without watching them do it. And for some managers, that required a real mindset shift. It's almost like a form of reskilling in itself.
That's a good way to put it. And I think from an employee perspective, the people who have thrived in hybrid setups are the ones who were proactive about making themselves visible in other ways. Speaking up in meetings, sharing updates, being clear about what they're working on.
Building what some people call a digital presence within your team, not in a performative way, but just making sure that your contributions are known and recognized, even when no one can see you sitting at your desk.
That takes a certain kind of professional maturity.
It does, and it's a skill that a lot of people have had to actively develop. It doesn't come naturally to everyone.
So if someone listening is in a hybrid job right now and feeling a bit lost or like they're falling behind, what would you tell them?
I would say first, figure out where the gaps are. Is it a technical thing, like not knowing the tools your team uses well enough? That's an upskilling opportunity. Or is it something bigger, like your whole role has shifted and you need to move in a different direction? That might be a reskilling moment.
And being honest with yourself about that difference matters.
It matters a lot because the solution is different depending on which situation you're in. And the good news is that there are more resources for both than ever before. Online courses, mentorship programs, internal training. Companies genuinely do want their people to grow, especially right now when talent is hard to find.
That's a hopeful note. I like that.
I'm trying to end on a high.
Well, let's bring it home then. We talked about what hybrid work actually means in practice, the difference between upskilling and reskilling and why both matter in this new working landscape, the challenges like proximity bias and what companies can do about them, and the mindset shifts required from both leaders and employees.
And I think the through line in all of it is adaptability. That word comes up constantly. The people and the organizations doing well in hybrid environments are the ones who are willing to keep learning, keep adjusting, and keep questioning whether the way they're working is actually serving them.
Really well said. Thanks so much for being here and sharing all of this.
It was a pleasure. Really enjoyed it.
This was Soft Languages. If you want to practice this episode, look up the listening journal. See you next time.